a brazen witness dubbed the Punisher. Decadent parties at the Trump International Hotel, illegal firearms, and shocking extortion claims. This is the trial of Diddy, a judicial firestorm that's shaking Hollywood to its core. From the moment the Punisher, introduced as a sex worker, took the stand, he set the courtroom ablaze with a story straight out of an adults-only blockbuster. Picture this: a lavish New York suite, candles flickering in the dim light, casting eerie shadows across the room. Cassie, Diddy's ex, hires this man for a birthday bash like no other. She tells him to get comfortable. His response? He struts out, stark naked. Under Diddy's piercing gaze, Cassie, slathered in baby oil, dives into an intimate performance that's as provocative as it is shocking. When the night wraps, she slips him $800 in cash, then tosses in an extra $1,200 as he heads out the door. These so-called freak-off parties weren't a one-time deal. They became a ritual of luxury and debauchery, straight out of a noir thriller. But the Punisher isn't done stealing the spotlight. This flamboyant witness turned his wild nights into a provocative book called Freezer Meat. The title? A cheeky nod. That's as hard as it gets, he quips with a sly grin. It's a fireworks display of a story, gripping the jury and the public alike. But here's the burning question: how does this tie to the charges against Diddy? Everything went down in New York, with no trace of interstate activity, a key pillar of the racketeering charges. This juicy testimony feels more like a shock tactic than hard evidence, and it's a risky move. By leaning on sensationalism, the prosecution might alienate the jury, who could see this as a desperate bid to smear Diddy rather than prove a crime. If doubt creeps in, the case could crumble under its own weight. Then comes Regina Ventura, Cassie's mother, whose testimony hits like a thunderbolt. Her story is chilling. She claims Diddy demanded $20,000 from her family to keep compromising freak-off videos under wraps. Imagine the unbearable pressure. Regina says they had to take out a loan to scrape together the cash. But here's the twist: Diddy allegedly returned the money after reconciling with Cassie. A fleeting whim of a jealous star or a calculated extortion plot? This bombshell is a lethal weapon for the prosecution, aiming to prove Diddy wasn't just living large but running a criminal empire, wielding blackmail and threats to tighten his grip. This could be the linchpin that sways the jury toward a conviction. And then there's the explosive raid on Diddy's Star Island mansion in Miami, piling on layers of intrigue to this already tangled case. Homeland Security agent Gerard Gainan took the stand to reveal a jaw-dropping inventory: AR-15 rifles with scratched-off serial numbers, sex toys, Astroglide lube, and stacks of computer equipment ripped from the walls, as if the place had been turned upside down. It's a scene as unsettling as it is bizarre. Illegal weapons in a racketeering case? That could bolster the idea of a criminal operation, especially if those guns were used to intimidate or shield illicit activities. But the connection is still murky. Are investigators hunting for incriminating videos on those computers, evidence of human trafficking, or something else entirely? Every item seized raises new questions, and every answer could tip the scales of this trial. The plot thickens with other witnesses adding fuel to the fire. Diddy's former assistant, David James, testified that his boss threatened to leak a compromising video of him partying under the influence. "I'm keeping this in my back pocket, just in case," Diddy allegedly said, a veiled threat that paints him as a master manipulator. And then there's the allegation about Kid Cudi. The prosecution hints that Diddy orchestrated the torching of Cudi's car out of jealousy, an act that, if proven, could cement the racketeering charges. Yet, for now, these pieces feel scattered, like fragments of a puzzle that hasn't quite come together. So, where does this leave us in this whirlwind of revelations? Is the prosecution building an ironclad case to prove Diddy ran a criminal enterprise? Or are they getting lost in a salacious spectacle to tarnish his name? The decadent parties, the extortion threats, the illegal weapons, each detail crafts a disturbing portrait, but is it enough to convince a jury? This trial is a full-blown drama, a courtroom saga where every day delivers a new twist. One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. What do you think? Is Diddy a cunning mastermind or a target of overblown accusations? Drop your thoughts in the comments. hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell to stay locked in for the next chapter of this explosive saga.